Hi, everyone. This is Jay Rosenzweig, the founder and CEO of birthparentfinder.com. And today I have on with me Lisa, who has been a client of ours for several months. And she came to us with just a birth certificate from Manhattan, New York, with her birth mother's name on it. And it was a name that was not very common, but we could not find her in any database. So we relied on Lisa's AncestryDNA results. Isn't that right, Lisa?
Yes, that's right, Jay.
And thank you again for doing this today. And so on your DNA results showed a half sibling on the paternal side. We tracked her down, spoke to her, and put her in contact with you. And tell me what that was like talking to your half sister.
That was actually unbelievable. I didn't know that I had a half sister. I didn't know anything really about actually Ancestry.com until I got the kit from Jay and Birth Parent Finder. And they told me to wait a couple of weeks and they would do a test on actually saliva. And they did. What had happened is they found out that my mother comes from Guam and my father is actually of Irish descent and Scottish. So it's kind of interesting to know that how far my mother is away. She's in Guam. I didn't know that that Jay would and the people that work with him would find out where she was. I was born in 1970. I really was with Spin Shapen and put up for adoption. But at age 52, I finally know who my mother is and where she's living. And I'm glad that she's safe and alive.
So let's backtrack just a second. So we did find out that your birth father passed away a long time ago in 1984, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And was his daughter able to provide you with information about medical history?
Not so much medical history, just because the way he lived his life, he became a banker and traveled actually to London, lived in London, and he lived in the Middle East as a banker. He didn't spend much time in the States after really graduating from university and things. He decided to just go to Europe and live his life there. He died in London in 1984.
Right. And that side was pretty easy to solve. But now getting back to your maternal side, we did not know initially that she was from Guam. I took it one step further and contacted people in the apartment building she lived in New York around the time you were born. And they remembered her. And they said she was from the Philippines. They obviously weren't sure, but they did remember her. And they remembered that she possibly gave birth prior to that. And through Ancestry DNA, I did find some relatives. I was able to track them down, and they did connect me with their cousin, which was your birth mother. I was able to get her phone number and call her in Guam, where she's from. And initially, she was not happy that I contacted her. She thought this was private. It was supposed to be secured, and no one was supposed to know anything about her giving birth back then. I explained to her that because of Ancestry DNA, that there's really no privacy in this, that it's all public now, and that don't worry, everything will be fine. And after speaking with her for a while, she said it was okay for me to give you her phone number. And you spoke with her. And what did you learn from that?
I learned that actually she was quite surprised. I mean, she was a little bit, I think she was scared. She didn't know who I was. I mean, to give someone from childbirth to Spin Shapen, I have to mention them again, for adoption and then walk away is a very, very hard thing. I think she was scared. I don't think she was hurt. She was surprised. She wanted to know if I was okay also. And that was very, very important. She wanted to know if I had a decent life. And I told her I did. She would, like I said, she didn't want to know about lots of people and she didn't want to know about my dad. But I had mentioned that he had passed away and she didn't say very much. I think she's living a life that she wants to live. I don't know if she'll accept change, though. That's me actually maybe going to see her. But I'm glad that I know that she does exist.
And do you think she'll want to meet you at some point?
Eventually, I think yes. That I feel this way because of her parents, or not her parents. Her parents have passed away. Her family from her side, not so much really doesn't really have to do with my father at all. It really has to do with where she's living and who her friends are.
Right. And that's a long flight. That's a 2-day flight, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
So I know that her relatives found out about you through DNA, and they obviously were very helpful in connecting, but she didn't want them notified. But we had to explain to her that, of course, they're notified because it was their DNA we used to connect to her.
Mhm.
So I believe she did understand that concept. But when you spoke to her, was she emotional at all?
Um, she Yeah, she was in shock. She just wanted to talk about actually her side of the family, like I knew these people, and I don't. I really don't know her very well. She was in shock. She was surprised. I think, like I mentioned, she was scared, and I think she's going to take the advice and direction of her friends and other family members when it comes to actually being with me, seeing me, or even talking to me again.
So that advice would be favorable toward you, you would think.
I think it should be. I think it should be. I don't know. I haven't, like I said, I have never met my mother. I don't know really what she looks like.
Right. We don't either. And you obviously were given information on your birth father with what he looks like and his family, correct?
Right. Yes. Yes. Mitzi described him as a very handsome man and good looking and things, but yeah, she couldn't go on in much detail either because it was kind of hard for her to know that he passed away like in 1984, a long time ago.
Right. Now, when you first started on this journey looking for your birth parents, what expectations did you have?
I My expectation was actually that they were both alive, and that's really what I wanted to hear. We got to be about facts and reality. You can't change reality. My father's passed away. My mother's alive. But like I said, I want her to be healthy and safe and have actually relationships with other family members. And she has that now. I think she does think about me, but I don't think she really mentions it so much to anybody. And I did surprise her about that phone call. And you helped me with a good surprise. It was a good surprise. It took her a while to actually realize I just want to talk to her. That's all. I just want to say hello.
And do you look at this as closure or something, a new beginning or what?
It's actually both. It's closure because I know where they are. It's a new beginning because I can, you know, I want a relationship, a friendship with my mom. But if she doesn't want that, I have to really kind of say, okay, that's what you want. Fine, you can have your way also. I don't want to put peer pressure on my mother because like I said, it was a surprise for me and a welcoming surprise, a good one. For her, it was not immediately.
And your adoptive parents have passed, correct?
Yes, they both are gone now. They're both deceased.
And did you wait for them to pass to start this journey?
And not really. I had mentioned on and off to Rose and Tom Mena through the years, but they have kind of kept silent about lots of things. I think it's that they wanted to think that they were appreciated for what they did, which is adopt actually two daughters, and think that their life was just what they had wanted. But I think they wanted actually my parents to come meet Rose and Tom, but they never did. They went their own directions. They went their own way with their own families. So they excluded me, is what they did, but not Rose and Tom. They were a nice couple.
So tell me, what was it like working with me and Birth Parent Finder?
It was very interesting. I think I saw you on. I know it was one of the shows many years ago. I don't know if it was Oprah or one of them, and I wanted to find someone who would help me locate somebody. How to do it, I didn't know how. I didn't know how to at all. If I went to Spence Chapin, they were going to mention just characteristics of my mother, which someone had met many years ago. I didn't know who she was. I didn't know where she lived. I'm glad I know where she lives, and I'm glad I know something about her. I thank you because you knew who to contact. You worked with other people, um, making phone calls or just maybe even sending somebody to a different city to talk to people that knew my mom. And that's what I think you really did. You helped me find really a loved one.
And I'm glad we solved this for you. It wasn't really that easy on the maternal side, but we did it probably in no time at all. I mean, maybe was it a month, maybe?
Right. We had to wait for the DNA. That was very, very important, I thought, in finding that.
Right. And I did send you a kit, I remember.
Yes, you did. You did send me that kit,
And also
Ancestry.
getting back to Spence Chapin, believe it or not, they were the ones that referred you to me.
Yes. Yes. I'm I'm
And,
I'm I'm, I'm very
right. Yeah,
happy.
right. We do get a lot of referrals from that agency, and glad to be working with them. And anything else you want to say about this whole experience, how this worked out for you and moving forward?
Yes, I'm very thankful for all your help, Jay, with you and the people that you work with. You didn't waste your time. You helped me find my mother, and that's what I wanted to do. And my parents, both my parents, but my mom, I know she's alive. But I'm taking everybody your advice to give it time, and maybe she'll be more friendly, and maybe want to talk on the phone. But I know where she is, and I'm not being really actually annoying to her at all. And making a phone call once every couple of days to see if she's okay. She hasn't responded yet to my last phone call. I don't know why. Mother's Day is coming up.
Well, I'm sure she will. She seemed a little antsy, a little anxious, and also irritated, but in a good way. And I'm sure this will all work out. And I'm sure someday you'll meet her, and it'll all be just fine.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Well, thank you for being here again today, and we'll talk soon.
Okay. Thank you, Jay.
You're welcome.